Good morning, everyone. Thank you. I'm Leslie Gould. I'm the president and CEO of the Lynn Area Chamber of Commerce, and we are honored and privileged to have you all here this morning for the annual mayor's address to the Lynn Area Chamber of Commerce. If you pick up the Lynn Journal, you're going to notice that at the beginning of each month, the Lynn Area Chamber of Commerce now has a banner advertisement at the bottom of the page, right there. That is to promote all the events that we are doing for the community, for our members. So please pick up a Lynn Journal, check us out. Now you can't say you don't know what's going on. Right, John? Right. All right. Thank you so much. Okay, so without further ado, it is my great privilege to introduce our board chair, Teresa Sarno from Eastern Bank, who will introduce Jim Cowdell. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Teresa Sarno, and I am chair to the board of the Lynn Area Chamber of Commerce, and I am also vice president and branch manager of Eastern Bank. We are honored to have you here to take time out of your busy schedules to join us this morning for one of our most highlighted and anticipated events each year. The mayor's address showcases the efforts of how the mayor and her team push for progress regarding issues and initiatives that will affect us all. This is also the moment where it's our responsibility to ask questions so we have a picture of the road ahead. The annual mayor's address is considered an important collaboration between our business members and City Hall. Workforce and economic development, public safety, the creation of a city planning department, and transportation challenges are just some of the many front burner issues continually addressed by the Lynn Area Chamber of Commerce. We may not always agree, but I am confident every one of us feels a great sense of stewardship for the city, and hence why we are all here today. On behalf of the LACC Board of Directors and on behalf of our 400 members, I know that this tradition of open communication and dialogue will bring the positive and progressive economic vitality we all envision. At this time, it is my great honor to introduce our first presenter this morning, EDIC Executive Director Jim Cowdell.
Or as Leslie would say, good morning. She grabbed me this morning. She's on her fourth cup of coffee, so that's always fun. They asked me to give a quick 10-minute economic development update, so I will do that. We look backwards, look back, and then forwards. The city set a vision. When it came to the downtown and the waterfront, we set a vision. And on the downtown, we had a bunch of, as folks know, Lynn was once the shoe capital of the entire world, and we had a bunch of old industrial, primarily empty buildings in the downtown. So we rezoned it to allow residential conversion, and on the waterfront, we also rezoned to change the way we look at the waterfront. So this is on Mount Vernon Street, and to be honest, I've lived in Lynn my whole life, and I can't remember what that industrial use was. I just remember it as an empty building. Because of the rezoning, that was converted, 42 units. It's, as I said, on Mount Vernon Street. It steps from the train stop. This was the first conversion, the Boston Lofts. These are condos. And that's a true statement. When we proposed this, there were a bunch of people that said, people are never going to live in the downtown. And I'm proud to say that they were wrong. And it definitely ties into economic development, as you'll see. It's definitely not a coincidence that when people moved into the downtown with disposable income, that it had a direct and positive impact on what's going on in the downtown. So this is the Blue Ox. And again, maybe people in this room remember there were people that said a high-end restaurant in downtown, and that place is thriving. And when you speak to Matt O'Neill, he tells us that 80% of the customers come from outside of Lynn. So it's a destination. Rossetti's, kind of a sidebar to this picture. Bobby Rossetti had a place in Winthrop. He came to us, came into City Hall uninvited, and he said, things are happening in Lynn, I want to be part of it. And he opened up a great restaurant in the downtown. The concert, the 2,200-seat auditorium, and I don't know of any other city hall in the country that has this. Upcoming shows, Boz Scaggs, Steve Miller, Smokey Robinson, Melissa Etheridge. Where's the mayor? I think we just had Gladys Knight, right? Yep, Gladys Knight. When that place is hopping, the downtown is hopping. So there's definitely a correlation, and we're so proud of the auditorium. We now have an arts and cultural district, and we hired its first director, and that's important to the economic development because it brings people into the downtown. The health center, On the left-hand side where the expansion was, that was a parking lot that the EDIC owned, and Laurie Berry came to us with a plan. Of course, she had a plan, and she said, I want to expand, I want to build a building. I don't have any money to buy the land, and I don't have any money to build the building, but that's my plan. And so we gave her the building for $1, which I told her today she still hasn't paid me. And she went forward, got the money for the building, expanded, and brought 100 new jobs, and they do a great job in the middle of our downtown. The V&A, looking for a new home, almost left Lynn. We were able to work with them, and that saved 100 new jobs, and that's certainly on the gateway of our city. In the waterfront, our challenge is really to have people look at it differently. We now have a master waterfront plan. We've changed the zoning. And I always show this picture. When you think of a vibrant waterfront, something like Marina Bay in Quincy, the mixed use in the background, an active marina. And then when you think of Lynn's waterfront, and it's not a shot, hopefully no business owners aren't about to throw things at me, but when you think of the waterfront, we want you to think differently, right? So this, government's role, remove obstacles, right? So where the yellow lines were, there were power lines, and you can see that it's not a coincidence where the yellow lines were, there's nothing there, right? But you can also see how much opportunity there is. Almost 300 acres on the water. There is no place in Massachusetts that has that much land on the Atlantic Ocean with no obstacles. So we have removed the power lines, we have rezoned. You could build 20 stories high there. And so we have to change the mentality of putting, say, a used car store, putting a fast food restaurant there, and we have to think big. We have to change people's perception of Lynn's waterfront. So this is the Beacon Chevrolet site. We call it the Beacon Chevrolet site because the last use was it was a Beacon Chevrolet site. That was about 30 years ago. It's been vacant for that long. There is going to be a development there, shovel in the ground next year. That's 14 acres. So that's the current view, big open land across from North Shore Community College. And this is what's coming. It's an $80 million investment, and I can't tell you the last time somebody invested $80 million of private money. It will be 100% market rate housing, and it really will change the way people look at how to invest in Lynn, how to invest on our waterfront. It will connect the boardwalk that is currently at Seaport and Heritage State Park. It will come behind the new development, and it will go all the way down to the commuter ferry site. So that's happening, shovel in the ground, $80 million next year. Gateway residents on Washington Street, Lynn Housing Authority Neighborhood Development Project, they did a great job. This will be 69 new affordable and market rate units. It's really taking a neighborhood that has been blighted and changing it. And I think there's another picture, next slide, of what it will look like. And this is on the other side of North Shore Community College. So we're really proud of that, shovel in the ground in 2017. So this is the Lynnway. The bottom is coming into Lynn over the bridge, and this is, again, vacant land. There's a proposal for Phase 1, which is 244 units here. I should give a shout out to Jason Denoncourt, representing Congressman Moulton. He's been working very hard on this project. Jason's right there. So this is critical because as you're coming into our city, on the right-hand side, there's really nothing there. There's been nothing there since I've been born. And really, when you're coming into Lynn, right, we can do better than what's there. The mass merchandise, and this is vacant land. So this is a critical project. We're working to get a shovel in the ground next year. There's some issues with wetlands and so forth that we're working on, but hopefully next year, a shovel in the ground. Market Basket is coming, and that's a $30 million investment. It creates 400 jobs. This is on a site in West Lynn, Federal Street and Western Avenue. It's been vacant since I worked there in the 80s. And so that definitely is going to happen. It definitely will be opening probably around this time next year, but somewhere in that time frame. And one thing, well, I'll keep going. Bentwater Brewery, right? We now have a microbrewery. They've been up in business for about a year. They're doing so well that they just did a $2 million expansion. So if you haven't tried their beer, go try it. They're doing great, though. 23 Central, this is an $11 million project. It's just, if you go by there now, you'll see the work being done. This is important. This is what we refer to as the Flatiron Building. It's right in the middle of the downtown. 49 residential units, 100% of them will be market rate. And that goes back to our philosophy, which is put people in the downtown with disposable income. And so a second floor and above is residential, but on the first floor, and we haven't talked to the press, we haven't done anything on this release yet, but this is happening. Okay, there'll be two companies. The first one shaded in the blue is called The Brew. I would refer to it as a Starbucks type of an environment, high-end coffee, free Wi-Fi, that type of atmosphere. And then the next one is Pie and Pint, which is a restaurant. I think it's 105, I can't really see that number, but it's over 100 seats for pizzeria type of food. They'll also have 25 craft beers, and it will really be good. It'll bring a lot of people in there. I think there's a, yeah. So this is what the pint and pie will look like. And so we're unveiling that today. It'll fit in really good with the atmosphere of the downtown. I think people will be psyched. 33 Central is a $1.8 million investment. We took a building that was condemned, turned it into 8 artists' work-live spaces, and there's soon to be an art gallery that we're closing on for the first floor. We had a developers tour. It was led by the lead team. Over 100 investors came to Lynn. They came from all over. We put them on a trolley. We took them to 20 what we felt were good investment stops. There's been a lot of interest, and I think it's really safe to say that there's a buzz in Lynn, and people are really looking to invest in Lynn. When the recession was here, I used to chase people, right? Come to Lynn, blah, blah, blah. Now we had Starbucks call me. I chased them for 8 years, wouldn't answer the phone. Now they call me. Now they're here in Lynn. Market Basket called us. So Lynn is really hopping right now. And it's in all of our interests, obviously, for the city to thrive. I want to thank the Chamber. Leslie, where are you? Thank you for all your hard work and your staff's hard work. We look at you as a partner, and we're really proud of that. So with that, if you haven't seen the Lynn video, this will take about 4.5 minutes of your life. We're really proud of this, so I wanted to show you the video, and then you're here to hear the mayor, and I'll introduce her after this video.
I am proud to be a Lynn resident because I believe that Lynn is one of the few communities where the people care about one another.
I'm a product of Lynn, so I'm born and raised here. And some of the best people I've ever met in my life are right here. They're hardworking people. They're honest. We're very proud of our city, and for good reason.
You couldn't get me to move out of Lynn. I mean, I love the city.
The people of Lynn are great. It's such a diverse community, and you meet a lot of different types of people, a lot of different cultures, and everyone is friendly.
You know, you go to the supermarket, no matter where you go, you're going to run into somebody you know. The families that are here want to stay here. They want the city to do well.
We are probably 10 miles from Boston. We're about 8 miles from Logan Airport. You're on the coast for a beautiful waterfront. So if you want to live here, we have everything.
You know, Lynn's a place that is happening. It's already happening, and yet we can do more. I get to travel around the state. I get to see communities, small towns, big cities, and what I see in Lynn is its ability to host commercial businesses, but also be a great place to live.
I feel like my heart has always been in Lynn, and this is really where we wanted to kind of plant our roots and start our family, and there's lots of great neighborhoods to do that.
We've been in Lynn now for 23 years in November. We had outgrown our original location, and my wife actually came across this building. With the help of the City of Lynn, we were able to purchase it and do a lot of the renovations that transformed this building completely, not just the building, but this general area as well.
With the Michis and Rossettis alongside of each other, it's certainly enlightened this whole block. And I've opened up, you know, in 3 different cities now in my life. And the City of Lynn certainly is business friendly. That's huge, and I think they're on the move.
as Lynn continues to prosper, folks are coming to us saying, hey, we want to be here. We have a workforce that's available. Any tool in the shed that we can offer for an incentive, we have it.
Bienvenido a la ciudad de Lynn, una ciudad diversa que espera por ti. Anyone from any country, any place, you find them here in the city of Lynn. The North Shore Latino Business Association is here to support, to promote, to educate. Anything that we can do for the businesses, we're here to help.
The thing that I love the most is the people. And 98% of my employees reside here in Lynn. You're standing right now in the middle of traditional breast, kind of where the whole process takes place. The city has been great to me in terms of the resources for employment, elected officials, the EDIC. It's been a great family.
Everybody is incredibly helpful and willing to extend any helping hand that they possibly can. We're 14 months into our launch. We have about 150 accounts already. We're trying to brew fantastic beer and create a great atmosphere.
Our natural resources are one of the first things people notice. We have a beautiful coastline. We have a 2,200-acre municipal forest land called Lynn Woods, one of the largest in the country. We have a gorgeous 18-hole golf course, and we have our downtown arts and culture district where we have many A-list shows at the Lynn Auditorium, which is a 2,200-seat concert hall located right here in City Hall.
You know, it's about making sure that people see this as a destination for entertainment, making sure that people are coming here for their night out.
There's a lot of thriving businesses that you'll recognize that have their home in Lynn. We couldn't be happier to be here. It's taken off. We're going to be growing. We're hoping to expand. And I love the success we've had here at the Blue Ox.
One of the areas in which Lynn has been concentrating is economic development, and more particularly the economic development along our waterfront.
We just signed a deal for an $80 million investment, 355 residential units. So you're about to see a really vibrant waterfront, and you are seeing a very vibrant downtown.
Lynn likes to keep it real. We are definitely one of the most diverse and one of the most inviting cities in Massachusetts.
Lynn is for real. You know, I really do believe it. You know, it's not about bringing Lynn back. It's about helping people to understand that Lynn never went away.
It's the real deal, and a lot of people say it's the up-and-coming city in Massachusetts, and I totally believe that, and I'm psyched to live here.
Thank you. At this time, it's my pleasure to introduce to you an old high school classmate of mine, somebody who helped me get through chemistry class, or else I still would be there. Our mayor, serving her 7th year, I believe, Mayor Judith Flanagan Kennedy.
I'm going to look tall today. Before we start, just on a serious note, when I walked in here today, the very first thing I thought of is Bob Gaudette. And I don't know if any of you are aware, but he had some really tough times last week. And just wanted to let you know, Bobby, if you're here somewhere in the building or you see this on video, thinking of you and glad you're okay. Yes. And every time I see that video, I go, wow, Jim, did a great job on that. So Jim Cowdell and EDIC and the producers of that video, congratulations. And I can see from my first written line that my typing skills are great as usual. It's so nice to be here at the Porthole again with you. So let me start it again and be aware of that little pothole in my speech. It's so nice to be here at the Porthole again with you. This is my 7th address to the Chamber of Commerce. The event is always such a great opportunity to update you on all the happenings here in Lynn. From bond ratings to business development to rock and roll at the auditorium, My goal is to touch on a little bit of everything that is important to you, to me, and the residents of our grand city. Across the city, we are making strides forward, from major improvements to our infrastructure, to smaller improvements to play equipment and parks, to groundbreaking developments on acres and acres of fallow land. Our team is hard at work, making this place, Lynn, Massachusetts, all that it can and should be. So I'd like to start with our public infrastructure, and in fact, right outside, where you may have noticed that the Lynnway continues to receive a much-needed facelift. The road has been paved, pedestrian overpass painted, and the ornamental fence that has been in disarray for years was replaced this summer. In addition, the stretch of the Lynnway from North Shore Community College to Eastern Avenue has been named part of the Essex Coastal Scenic Byway. It's a 90-mile roadway that links 14 coastal communities from Lynn to Salisbury and features scenic views, period architecture, historic sites, and recreational opportunities. The Lynnway is one of the 4 major entrances to our city, and its continued rehabilitation is wonderful news. Along with its current rehab, we continue to explore ideas on how best to afford pedestrians a safe way to cross its 6 lanes of traffic. My team has submitted a Mass Works grant application that will streamline the intersection at the Lynnway and Route 1A, across from the pending housing development at the former Beacon Chevrolet site, which I will touch on a bit, as Jim alluded to earlier. In all, our vision is to connect the city with the waterfront, creating a walkable, livable community with great housing, great businesses, and great outdoor and waterfront space. On the other side of the city, at Wyoma Square, one of our busiest intersections, we recently finished $6 million worth of improvements to the road, sidewalks, medians, and signals. Wyoma is the northwestern gateway to both the downtown and to our Boston Street corridor, and hosts a wonderful, thriving business district. Its makeover will increase the viability of these businesses while streamlining traffic flow into the core of our city. Our intention is to continue the work in that area by turning our attention to the stretch of road from Wyoma to the entrance of Lynn Woods. It is on the State Transportation Improvement Program, and we will continue to advocate for its rehabilitation until it's completed. We have been also working with the City of Salem and the Massachusetts Department of Transportation on the northern entrance to Lynn via Highland Avenue. As you know, and I know because I live there, Route 107 bottlenecks at both the Saugus and Salem sides of Western Avenue. No easy solutions, but we are at the table working hard to streamline vehicular traffic into and out of our borders. And you may have noticed that the item picked up on this just the other day. They gave a quick summary of the draft study and an editorial, I believe it was this morning. So, with the large-scale transportation projects aside, I know some of the most important issues affecting residents and consumers' daily lives are the smaller public infrastructure issues, such as potholes, sidewalks, trees, and snow removal. This past year, our Department of Public Works did yeoman's work completing hundreds of smaller projects in your neighborhoods. In addition, to combat illegal dumping, the DPW is now accepting bulk waste items such as mattresses and furniture at the Commercial Street Transfer Station on most Saturdays. To date, approximately 112 tons of bulk waste has been disposed of in a responsible manner at this transfer station. Although trash and litter remain a constant struggle, this has put a tremendous dent in illegal dumping of larger items. Eradicating litter and dumping is vital in showcasing our city, its businesses, and amenities. I'm going to just touch quickly on the budget and the finances. This past June, I'm happy to report that the council unanimously approved my FY17 budget. With an ever-wary eye on the bottom line, we remain committed to balancing the budget, trimming excess, and resisting any attempt at unwise and unnecessary spending. Our bond rating remains solid at AA. Seems like every year is a challenge, but rest assured I will continue my pledge to be as prudent and penny pinching as I can with your tax dollars. With the city's own buildings. Much like our streets and roads, keeping our publicly owned facilities in good condition is vital to the strength of our community. They showcase our history, house our employees, and are, in and of themselves, beautiful works of art and architecture that help to attract people into our core. If you haven't been to the Grand Army of the Republic building, you are truly missing out. It is a wonderful resource that houses thousands of Civil War memorabilia, from original uniforms to flags and even President Lincoln's signature. It's truly a hidden gem that we continue to rehabilitate and promote to the public. If you go, make sure you make your way to the Grand Meeting Hall on the top floor. It is a sight and experience you won't soon forget. Having completed what our master plan called for at High Rock Tower, we have now turned attention to the stone cottage below. Our applications for historical grant funding have been successful, and work continues today on the building's envelope. Our intention is to eventually utilize the cottage as meeting space in conjunction with the observatory at the top of High Rock Tower, which is open again on select Tuesday nights through the fall. And if you want to see the most updated schedule, you can check the city's webpage. Down from High Rock and back across the Linway, right down the street, we make our way to the marina, which continues its rehabilitation. We have literally brought the marina back from the brink of total ruin. We are now awaiting funding from FEMA, which will cap off restoration of the main gangway. Seaport and its accompanying boardwalk have been owned by the city since the 1970s and continue to be wonderful city assets, attracting people to the waterfront. Part of the Waterfront Master Plan calls for additional marinas and multiple water-based activities, which we continue to advocate for. Their creation will draw more people to the waterfront and into our city. From the waterfront, you know I can't resist. We're going inside the air-conditioned Lynn Auditorium. I can't say enough about what the auditorium has become. When I was first elected, I was adamant that we create a destination to mass people together in order to spur on economic development. The auditorium has steadily become that destination. Thousands upon thousands are attending our shows, and the ripple effect it has had, not only on the downtown, but the entire city, is so evident. I just attended the Gladys Knight show this past weekend, which received a wonderful review by the Item, and we just booked Brian Wilson for a date next summer. From today until then, we are booked solid. From Boz Skaggs this Sunday to Jungle Jack Hanna and William Shatner next weekend to Steve Miller, the Righteous Brothers, Melissa Etheridge, and many, many more. The auditorium is jam-packed with great events. We'll continue to book more and more shows and utilize this wonderful resource to its intended and full potential. Maybe less glamorous is all the important work our inspectional services teams coordinates on a daily basis. As such, we are replacing school boilers, fire station roofs and interiors, as well as electrical equipment and masonry repairs at a variety of buildings. Again, not so glamorous, but keeping up with our publicly owned facilities is vital to the strength of our city. With our schools, and in particular, let's start right across the street with North Shore Community College. Its expansion is full steam ahead, and we are so excited to attend the blue ribbon cutting ceremony soon. The expansion is testimony to how vital and important the college is to Lynn and to the students who attend. In conjunction with the expansion, I am excited to announce that the college intends to bring its bookstore out from within the confines of the building to a storefront location along Broad Street for all residents to utilize. We don't have any freestanding bookstores here in the city of Lynn, so it will be great to finally have one here for our own use. On our own public K-12 education front, we recently opened, ahead of schedule I might add, our new state-of-the-art 180,000 square foot Marshall Middle School. The new Marshall won't only transform education for the approximately 1,100 students who attend, but will also help in transforming the surrounding neighborhood. In addition, we moved our popular Lynn Police Student Academy to the new Marshall Middle School, where the kids participated in simulated police academy training, including PT, law instruction, and police procedures. The academy not only affords kids insight into police work, but it also helps us with our own police-youth relations. We've also been doing a lot of work on our parks and open space. I'm happy to report that just about every park and playground in the entire city has been or will see renovations by the end of 2017. 2 bond bills that I signed into law aimed at parks, open space, and our public structures will go a long way in ensuring the viability of these resources for years to come. The new bathrooms at the Pennybrook Road entrance of Lynn Woods are not the most glorious project to tout, but they're very important to increasing the use and enjoyment of one of our largest and grandest natural resources. I'll say it again, larger than Central Park and utilized by thousands every year for all sorts of outdoor activities. Other bond-related renovations completed or slated to begin include the Clark Park Pickleball, try saying that, Clark Park Pickleball and Bocce Courts, a neck climber and a tack ride at Cook, basketball hoops and backboards at Gallagher, a spin rider at Magnolia, lights at Fraser, irrigation at Flax Pond, basketball hoops at Keeney, and wall repair at Goldfish Pond. These examples are just a smattering of what's in store for our parks. They're so vital to affording our kids alternatives to sitting indoors, playing Pokemon, or watching YouTube. We will continue to do all we can to ensure they remain vibrant, clean, and safe places for our kids to play and grow. On the Common, with the Frederick Douglass Band, I'm sorry, I have a cold and I only had 1 cup of coffee, but you'll get my point. With the Frederick Douglass Bandstand rehabilitated, we turned our attention to the smaller portion of the Lynn Common for repair. Following our master plan, we rehabilitated the walkway, installed new benches, landscaped the area, and will top it off with antique lighting later this fall. In addition, when rehabilitating the walkway, we ensured it was exactly 1/4 mile around. We intend to promote this fact, and in doing so, promote the walkway as a place to get your daily exercise in. Next up will be the large common. Plans are similar to the smaller common and will feature tree trimming, landscaping, benches, the walkway, and period lighting. The common is an important gateway on the north to our downtown and on the south to both our Market Square businesses and our new Market Basket grocery store development. Across the street from the common, a small but fun project where we recently removed 2 of the original circa 1900 bronze lights from the library basement and sent them out for total restoration. As the story goes, thieves wrapped a chain around these lights and used a car to pull them halfway down the common as sparks filled the air and road. As you can imagine, they didn't get too far. However, the lights were squirreled away in the library basement for years. Soon they'll be back in their rightful positions, flanking the library's main staircase and completing the improvements we are making across the street in the small common. Regarding our arts and culture, the art scene the past few months has been full of activity in the downtown Lynn Cultural District. For the first time in 5 years, downtown was home to an arts festival in June. The Rock the Block Party drew crowds to enjoy 6 live bands, numerous artist vendors, a Bentwater beer tent, and Lynn's own barbecue food truck. Live music continued downtown throughout the summer, both at the vibrant Thursdays farmers markets and on Wednesday evenings under the MBTA tracks with new music in the square. Along with the auditorium and downtown restaurants, art nonprofits continue to activate the district with a wide variety of offerings. Centerboard's Vision Space Gallery lit up High Rock Tower with a light show. Raw Arts hosted its largest sold-out bash event this spring. The Lynn Museum has been on a roll with exhibits and events, including the 6th annual History and Hops beer tasting and Leo's Trivia Night fundraiser in September. Lynn Arts is currently hosting an innovative photography exhibit with the Lynn Shelter Association called Off the Grid. And I want to go a little more deeply into this one. I just went over last week to see the gallery exhibit. These are a series of photographs taken by 13 homeless people who are here in the city of Lynn. There was money provided through a grant to give 13 of them a 35mm camera. They were mentored by professional photographers, and the view of the city of Lynn from their eyes is really incredible. If you get a chance, you should stop over to the Lynn Arts main gallery and take a look at the photographs. They are really astonishing and surprisingly uplifting. The Downtown Lynn Cultural District's annual Clock to the Rock Road Race was held this past Saturday, where the School of Rock band, called the Young Stones, performed a Rolling Stones tribute to celebrate the 50th anniversary of the band's appearance at Manning Bowl. Arts After Hours is gearing up for their musical, Silence, based on Silence of the Lambs, which opens tonight at the Black Box Theater. The weekend before Thanksgiving, the Lydia Pinkham Building's 11th annual Open Studios takes place, and that's a great opportunity to shop local and support the arts this holiday. And lastly, this week, Land of a Thousand Hills Coffee Shop transformed the cafe to recreate the set of Luke's Coffee Shop from the hit show The Gilmore Girls, drawing a line of fans around the block. On the economic front, yep, you're going to hear about Market Basket again, but each time I talk about it, it seems like it's getting a little closer. It's not the end-all, be-all, but I do have to say I couldn't be more excited about the reuse, or should I say use of this property that has not been used for too many years. I grew up in West Lynn, and to see this land sit vacant for almost 30 years was unacceptable. I recall sitting in room 302 of City Hall years ago, demanding action from GE top brass. My insistence that this land be redeveloped turned to joy as we devised a path to redevelopment, and this past winter, I attended a small ceremony and watched as the first piece of the Factory of the Future came down. The Market Basket is slated to open in 2017, and it will bring with it about 400 jobs, additional property tax dollars, an anchor for potential surrounding development, and thanks to my team, a MassWorks grant to the tune of $2.5 million, which we will utilize to improve the public roadways around the site. I also have a signed agreement between the city and Market Basket that Lynn residents will have priority on all hirings. This is a $25 million investment, and we can't wait for the doors to open. I'm also happy to report that 3 major projects continue to move forward on the Lynnway. The Beacon Chevrolet site, referenced before, is steadily moving forward, as are the South Harbor site on the ocean side of the Lynnway and the Gear Plant site of the western side of the Lynnway. These bookend developments could act as rainmaker projects when completed and, like Market Basket, attract other developments. In addition to these large projects, a host of smaller businesses have recently opened their doors here in Lynn. To name just a few, Bentwater, which you've heard about, Lynn's very own microbrewery, is doing very well on the Lynnway. In fact, they've already done a $2 million expansion due to their rapid success. Trio's Mexican Grill has opened on Market Street. The Land of 1,000 Hills Coffee is selling Java on Monroe. Pickup Modern, a high-end consignment and design store, is attracting a wider and eclectic clientele to our cultural district on Exchange Street. We have Velocity Fitness on Eastern Avenue, Cafe Columbia on Acorn Street, which sells breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and K Security Systems on Boston Street. In addition, we held a blue ribbon cutting ceremony at the former Arnold Stationery Building, where artist lofts have now been sold in the cultural district. Assisting these businesses, Community Development's facade program that affords small businesses up to $4,000 to improve the outside aesthetics of their businesses has been budgeted again this year. Also, I think this would fall rightly into the category of economic development. And I just want to mention the LEAD team. The LEAD team will be celebrating its one-year anniversary next month. The team is made up of city, state, and federal agencies that are working together to find resources for our initiatives here in the city. We held the Developers Tour, where 100 investors from all over came to Lynn to see what opportunities existed here. It was a huge success, and the follow-up meetings are happening now. People are looking at Lynn differently and see it as a city that is a great investment. And then I guess I'd file this under miscellaneous. Other important subjects and projects of note include the demolition of East Coast Seafood on Alley Street. Tom DeMarcus has big plans for the site, and we are staying tuned to assist him in any way we can. We have funded another year's worth of our CLT officers and downtown community policing officers, where officers connect with the public on a personal level, walking the beat, thwarting disputes and crime before it happens. I believe programs like these are so important to our crime reduction efforts. In fact, as evidence of what Chief Coppinger and his team are accomplishing, official crime statistics indicate major crime is down yet once again in Lynn. An additional link to keeping kids out of trouble, we hired approximately 200 summer youth through our Summer Youth Jobs program this summer. Back to school now, they all worked hard in our downtown and parks, picking up trash, trimming weeds, and assisting businesses such as Eastern Bank, where they will not only do an honest day's work, but gain valuable insight into the working world. All in all, there are no shortages of projects to work on, structures to rehabilitate, and businesses to assist. Collectively, all of our hard work on our public buildings, structures, and roadways, in our playgrounds and open space, within our downtown, on our waterfront, with developers and with business owners, is all adding up. Lynn is in a constant state of transformation, a transformation that we are excited about. Once dilapidated parks and buildings are now refurbished. Open space is becoming welcoming again. Storefronts are becoming populated, and developers are now knocking on our doors. There's a definite buzz about Lynn. We are on the move, and there is every reason to feel good about what we have done, but more importantly, what is about to happen. I want to thank all of you, especially the sponsors, Element Care, Salem 5, Atlantic Ambulance, and our gold sponsor, platinum, titanium. I don't have my cheat up here. Community Credit Union for sponsoring this, and I really appreciate the opportunity to present this information to you today. Like many other organizations in the city, the Lynn Area Chamber of Commerce is part of what makes Lynn so wonderful and vibrant. Thank you.